Good morning, friends. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I have something here. Can you tell what it is? It's water, right? What does water make you think of? When you see water or hear water, what do you think of? Tell someone near you about what water makes you think of. What does water make you think of? For me, water makes me think about life, right? All of the things that need water to live, like us, like plants, like animals. Water is really important. And I live somewhere where I can go to the sink, get some water, and I can drink that. That's not true for everyone in the world or even in our country. Maybe you have a garden at your home or some plants and you have to help make sure that they're getting enough water or not too much water. I tend to overwater my plants. Maybe water makes you think of how powerful and strong it is. Water can make canyons in the earth, and it can cause a lot of destruction too. We think of the hurricanes happening right now. And water is very powerful. Water also makes me think of rain. Rain is one of my favorite sounds to listen to. Maybe you've sat on a porch or been at a window where you can hear the sound of rain. And water also reminds us that we are loved, that God loves us no matter what we do. God loves us for who we are. And that's what baptism reminds us of, right? You might remember when we've been in church and a child or an adult or a baby gets water sprinkled on their forehead. And that reminds us of God's love and God's promise to us. Water is pretty amazing. This week and next week, we're going to hear about the story of the Great Flood. We're going to read from Growing in God's Love, a story Bible again. And we're going to hear this story. So let's listen together. It's called When the World Started Over Again. And it's based on Genesis chapters 6 through 9. If you have a Bible at home and you want to find where this story is from. Almost everyone on earth has a story about a time when the world almost ended. Most of these stories are about a huge flood, the hugest flood ever. The people who tell these stories put all their little fears, into a story about one great big fear, the end of the world. Here's the Bible story about how the world almost ended and how it began again after a huge and terrible flood. It rained for days and days. The water rose and rose until it covered everything. Every living thing died. Almost. Just one person, Noah, built a boat so big that there was room for his whole family. Actually, Noah built his boat even bigger than that. He built it so big he could bring a family of every animal along too. Dogs and cats, elephants and ants, lions and tigers. Noah even brought spiders and snakes on board. And everyone got along just fine. They were all safe for now. The big boat floated on the big flood. It seemed like forever for all the families on the boat. Then one day, the sun came out. The clouds disappeared and the rain stopped. Noah's huge boat came to rest on dry land. Noah opened the windows. When he saw that it was safe, he opened the door. Everyone went bounding out into the new world, running and jumping and scampering in all directions. They found new homes and started new families. They made new lives for themselves. Then God told them all, "Don't be afraid that the world will end. Don't worry that this will ever happen again. I'm going to make a promise to all of you, to the whole world and everyone who lives in it. I will keep you safe." When God made this promise, God was talking to the whole world. God was talking to elephants and ants. God was talking to spiders and snakes. God was talking to pet dogs and pet cats and pet hamsters. God was talking to everyone in Noah's whole family. God was talking to your whole family. God was talking to you. God said, "Just to remind you of my promise to keep you safe, I'll make the rainbow. When it rains, don't be afraid. Just look for the rainbow." So, thinking back to rain, what sounds do you hear when it rains? What sounds do you hear when it rains? You can tell someone near you, or tell a friend, or just think about it to yourself. Thanks for joining me today, friends.